Episode 15 of Between Two Biomes. If you want to see our ugly mugs, we have a surprise guest sitting here with us. And if you're looking at the screen, there's a slight hint on who that might be, right?
I'm excited. I gotta tell you, I'm excited. We've tried to get RustyDave on since the early
Yes.
days of the show. Early days, it sounds like we've been doing this for like 5 years now,
Yeah.
but like since
We'll
like
talk
January.
about what
You
keeps
will
him
be
so
very
busy.
disappointed. Very disappointed when the show's over.
Yeah.
So
we've been trying to get him on for a while, and finally
never
we have a
works.
reason.
we had to make a sacrifice to do this. So what's the sacrifice? Is that Mashie, hold up what you're drinking there, and Dave, you hold up what you're drinking there.
I got my Starbucks.
Yeah, and
I've got coffee.
Now you guys are on the West Coast. I'm
Yeah.
on the East Coast, so it's 11:08 a.m. here, which is just good enough time for
mimosa
mimosa.
Mimosa time.
I figured we weren't going to get much of a chance to do this very often, so I have my screw cap, my twist top champagne, the cheap stuff, but it serves the same function.
Now, Masta, I will surprise you though, because while this is coffee in my coffee cup, because it is 9 a.m. in the morning here, in the spirit of Between Two Biomes, it does have a little bit of last week's Boone County in my bourbon in my coffee. So we'll see where the show goes.
You guys may have a problem.
What I can tell you is,
yeah,
I will probably
it's not
be
just
asleep
a drinking
on the couch.
problem. Yeah,
exactly. But what I can tell you is, I will probably be asleep on the couch in about 3 hours.
Yeah. Now, Rusty, you've got to fly, right? We got a time.
Yeah, I've got to operate some heavy machinery, so they generally.
And it's not a digger.
They don't like us drinking before, so I'll just drink my coffee. And
that's a good thing. Enjoy your
coffee.
It's a good
thing.
Starbucks.
I'm not ready to get fired yet today, so
yes, we don't want you to get fired because of the show.
We'll wait for next week. You can do it next week.
Exactly. Well, yeah.
Masta, how was your week?
Pretty good week. Yeah. So I did get to play outside in the golf league on Tuesday, and I shot another 84, the same score again. So I think
good.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. I'm hitting the ball really well, and I think what I'm happiest about the most is if I started mishitting or got a case of the shanks, my round would pretty much be over because I couldn't shake it, right? But now if I have a bad shot or two, I'm able to pull things back together and and get back into a rhythm. So that is a huge victory for me.
I don't understand how you hit so far. Like when we played the other day, I'm like, you launch it out there. First
I'm built like a gorilla. I got long arms and long legs, so it's all
like
physics,
6'2". He's like 6'2".
Just taps and it goes 280.
Yeah, he's got that long, lanky swing that when he squares up the club face, especially the driver on the ball.
I'm built like an albatross. I just can't make any.
Not yet, man. You know who's getting really good is Pud. I got to give Pud kudos. I give him a hard time on my videos, but he's done a lot of lessons with Shanky, and you know what? I always give him a hard time as a spray-approved course, but he's good. We played that scramble the other day, and he saved our butt because I played too much golf, and I just kind of fell apart, and he carried us. So
listen,
shout out to Pud, buddy. I told you.
But we'll continue to make fun of him because that's what we do.
I think 80% of golf is staying engaged for every shot. Even if you had a bad hole or a bad round, it's the one or two shots that you need to stay engaged with that's going to make you come back the next time. And Pud's great at that. He stays engaged for all shots. He doesn't check out after a couple of bad holes.
No, I see him too on his camera. He's doing his practice swings, and I'm just drinking my craft beer. He's doing his practice swings and being all serious so.
I'm
still make fun of him.
I'm out F5ing around the course. Wee.
Nice, good. I got out on Monday and played 18, and then out on Wednesday and played 9 after work. So I did get out and play real. I did have a question for you. I got out and played real golf, which is good, but I did have a question for you. Hey, now that it's warmer, are you finding any challenges transitioning from outside back into sim? Because we played that scramble yesterday in the sim. It was the first time I'd played in the sim with my sticks in probably 2 weeks. So I'm just curious.
I haven't, no.
Okay.
My more transition is in to out. That's where I struggle, and I definitely hit the ball, if you can believe it or not, further outside too, which is I have to adjust once I go back outside and start clubbing down.
I feel more free to swing outside. I hit the ball further outside as well, and I feel a little, even though I'm in a pretty big room and there's no way I'm going to hit anything, I feel a little restricted inside. I don't know why.
I think it's my mat interaction, honestly, inside. I think my mat is really grabby.
Interesting.
Well, it's way more punishing for sure. I played one real round this year so far, and for the first 6 holes, pulled everything hard into the forest. So it's definite. My aim point's got to change outside. I have to swing way more to the right.
Got it.
I find with
is
my
it swing to the right, or is it swing to the right, or line?
No,
to
it's
the
swing
right?
to the right, because I tend to, if I'm not, I tend to come a little over the top, and with my, if I'm all arms and all hands, right? It's all timing for me. So when it's off, I just pull everything hard. Generally, I crack a beer on the 5th hole, and I don't give a shit anymore. So then I start playing well.
You guys swing to the right. I hang a little lower on the right.
Well, that's another topic, isn't it?
It comes up in this show, and I'm on my 3rd mimosa, so
that's a lot of info. Exactly. I don't want to have a visual in about 3 hours when I'm taking off.
All right, so let's move forward.
Who won the bet? How many courses got released this week?
So we didn't do a number at the end of last week, and now that I think about it, I guessed, and I tagged you on a DM, I think, and I said, hey, we didn't guess, here's mine. And did you I think that just got lost.
I did. I went one lower. Whatever yours was, I went one lower.
Oh, so then you win. F you. Man.
But it was still too high. I think you said 11, I said 10, or you said 12, I said 11.
I guess maybe is it to that time of year that like things are going to start slowing down because people are golfing?
I don't know.
I think so.
There's a lot of courses in beta though. There's still a ton of beta courses. They just haven't been published yet.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think though it has that beta course list has gotten a little smaller. I think it's finally starting to shrink again from like the winter high, if you want to call it that.
And before we jump in, listen, we have from the new segment from last week, we got to chime in this. We have for this week, we are going to bring another stupid Facebook post of the week. so Stevie, cue up our stupid Facebook post music, right? I don't know what it is, but come up with something.
There it is.
Like Benny Hill kind of, like clown car music or whatever.
Yeah, or I don't know if it should be like some type of ego music.
I don't know, but something. We need to, but stupid Facebook post of the week. Bastard, do you want to do? Because we agree completely on this one.
Yeah, which was
I don't know what it is yet. I'm excited to hear this.
So the guy, I think it was just like yesterday or last night, posted, "Hey, I have a feature request and I'm willing to pay for it. I got $2,000 to spend. Who do I pay?"
No. Hold on. Do it right. I'm gonna read you the post.
Okay.
Anyone know if you can donate for simple features? I got 2G or 2 for a few that would make it perfect. Number 1 would be a second screenshot day. So he's got 2G lying around, a couple of 2G lying around. And then he posts a little bit later on and more about his G's, and he's got 2 or 3. He's like, I got lots of
pretty much
Gs
like, I got lots of money but no time, and I want to make this thing perfect. It reminds me of the meme, take my money.
I'm sure the GSPro devs are like, you know what? I'll
pass on that one.
So that was our and if we need to screenshot it and put it into the
he deleted the other comment, which was, I fly around the country keeping your internet working, and I have the money to spend, and when I'm home I don't have time, and I want this thing to be exactly the way I want it. And he rambled on. He ended up deleting. I think this was a drunk Facebook post, personally.
I think it was a drunk Facebook post, and if that was the case, there's respect for that. Like, that's okay, cool.
Yeah,
like,
if it's drunk, you got it, because I've done drunk podcast shows. Here I am.
drunk. Yeah, we've done that before.
Drunk video casting. Yeah.
So that was our dumb Facebook post of the week. So sorry, whoever you are on Facebook, but
we got a good laugh out of it.
We did.
We haven't heard from Buddy there that. What was his name? Well, we're not going to mention his name, but Buddy there that basically was going to start his own site and.
Oh, the guy who just. I think he has more blocked people than he has friends.
I think he gave up on the whole thing.
He sent me a nasty message, and then I couldn't reply to it, of course.
Yeah. So I think it's all dead.
Yeah.
Masta's
right. Let's jump in. That's a good.
We have a little bit of an announcement to make. Not so much announcement, like something I think we're going to try out.
We need like announcement music. We need like dun, 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 whatever. So this is new. we're going to try something here. We're going to take B2B and try to do some, I don't know what you want to call it, but like
we're going to call it the Gauntlet, the B2B Gauntlet.
We're excited about this. Masta and I have been talking about this for a while now, and we're really excited about this. So you want to walk through it, and I'll just give some color, or
yes, how do you want to do it? You add some color here. So the B2B Gauntlet, okay? And what we decided was, and this goes back to what we were just talking about, is we see these people talking everywhere. We need a course ranking system. I want to give a course 4 stars, 5 stars, whatever. I'm going to start my own site. And we had concerns about this, and that we wanted to make sure that designers, if there was anything, we want to make sure it was in the designer hands, like somebody who looked at a course, because I feel like a lot of people will play a course and will end up ranking it badly because something happened in game that has nothing to do with the designer. Right?
I've done that.
Or they don't have the.
I got a 6 on a hole and said, "This course sucks. I hate this course."
Right. So that you give it 1 star, or something else is that they turn up the saturation all the way and they don't really know how to set lighting or whatever. So we decided, hey, let's come up with a badge program to reward designers for that do exemplary courses, like courses that look really good, and that way, and we base it on that versus maybe a game side bug instead.
Right.
And we decided, hey, we can do this. Let's just come up with 3 categories of badges, and we're going to call them Birdie, Eagle, and Ace. Okay.
Go figure. In a golf badging system, we should go with Birdie, Eagle, and Ace.
Yeah, so pretty simple, right? So courses that go through this gauntlet, you'll get a badge, and I'll show you the badges here in a second. But then you can put that on your splash screen. You can do it. You can use it to promote the course on Facebook. And this is from Blazing Saddles. We don't need no stinking badges. And it's up to you. Don't have to. And by the if you don't want to use the badge and put it on your splash, that's fine. We don't really care. But we're also going to have another badge for if we pick a course as the must play of the week. We're going to call it the MPAL badge. So we'll have a badge for that you can put on your splash screen.
Yep.
But here they are. Fancy. Wow. We have the Birdie, between 2 birdies, Biome. Between 2 Biomes, Birdie badge, the Eagle badge, the Ace badge, and the MPAL badge.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Nice. So, and like we want designers that do exemplary work or have courses that are exemplary to have something that they can show off their work on, so that people in game hopefully can get to know these and be like, wow, that's an Ace course, or this is a Birdie course. It's really good. Do we have another slide, I think, that goes a little bit more detail?
So some more guidelines, the most likely questions that people are going to have about this, which is any course released to SGT, we will perhaps sign you a badge, but again, we don't know how many courses are going to come out every week. There's no guarantee that we're going to put every course through the gauntlet. So
correct.
Again, if we had it one week where 18 come out, there's no way that we're going through 18 courses. So it'll be on a selective basis. So once they hit SGT, you can go through it. Now, keep in mind, and then also every course won't get a badge because, frankly, I think if you got a course in SGT, that's really good. I mean, you've made it to the finish line, and there's a certain caliber that goes in SGT. We're looking at courses above and beyond just the minimum specs for SGT. That's where these badges are going to come into place. We're also
only courses.
Yes, and guys, we kind of joked. We said, well, should we have a between 2 biomes par badge? And we're like, hell no. Par stands for participation. We don't give out participation badges, right? No. So SGT, getting your blue because you got an SGT, that's kind of a separate badge in its own thing. But we're also going to allow here is if you've got a course in beta and it's at the end of the beta cycle, which means you've gotten some good feedback, you're about ready to submit it to SGT, you can tag Mashie and I and say, hey, I want to throw this through the gauntlet right now. That way I could have my badge and have it essentially available when I post to SGT. So we want to make it perfectly clear, though, we are not a substitution for the beta program.
Correct.
At all.
No. We are an addition on top of.
Yes.
You have to do the beta program, everything in the beta program. And this is like icing on the cake with this little cherry on top of your ice cream sundae.
Yep. So just tag us in your beta and say, hey, put me through the gauntlet. Now, just because you submit to us.
You got Run right now on his computer.
Yeah.
38 submissions from Pud.
And now, just because you say, hey, Mashie, Masta, I want you to put this through the gauntlet, doesn't mean we're going to cover it on the show. Doesn't mean we're going to make a recording of it. We're going to take a look at it. we might make a recording of us reviewing the show, or we might not give you a badge at all. We might just say, dude, you got some work to do here, or we'll give you, a birdie badge or ace, whatever we decide on. Now, at that point, if you decide to make improvements, okay, and before you submit to SGT again, you can say, hey, I did some improvements. Can you take a look again? But you can only do that once, because again, we are not in the beta program. We're just giving out badges, and we have lives, so we can't review every course 20 times.
Right.
Okay. And there's no guarantee just because you make some improvements that you're going to go to this higher level badge.
Well, and let me add to this too. There's no guarantee you get a badge by going through.
Right.
And this line at the bottom is super important here. Like, there is no, if you go through the gauntlet, this is completely our subjective view based on our experience of reviewing courses. So just because you submit to the gauntlet doesn't mean you're going to, one, get a badge. And if you do fix some things and you submit again, it doesn't necessarily mean that, one, you'll get a badge or get a higher badge. So it's a hard threshold, by the way. We're not just trying to give badges out. Like
I'm guessing less than 50% of courses are even going to get a badge.
I would assume maybe a lower number than that.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what? That's good though. It's going to force guys to.
And that's ultimate. I want to
courses.
You nailed it. I want to reward people for doing a great job, and I want to elevate everybody's game at the end of the day. Yep. So we're keeping this very subjective, and keep in mind, this is just the opinions of when you get a badge. This is just our opinion, okay? Don't base your life on what badge you get from us. Throw yourself off a building because you got a bad badge. So
there are no bad badges. Every badge is positive. There's just different degrees of positivity.
So a birdie is, you have gone above what is the minimum spec to get into SGT. It means you have a well-detailed course. Your colors and hues are consistent. You don't see anything that stands out or is just really off. And you have to have decent performance levels too. If it's a drain on resources, so this is a high level what a birdie course is going to be. And then an eagle is an extremely well detailed course. And to me, the colors they're not only consistent, but they're natural and immersive, which means you feel like you're looking at a picture, right?
Yep.
And then your course objects, if you have houses or other things you created in Blender or other things that you brought into Unity, they should be reflective of real life. What I mean is the clubhouse should look like the real clubhouse, right? It should look like the houses. I mean, obviously every house doesn't have to look the same, but the houses should look like they're real.
Right.
And then ace, there aren't going to be too many of these.
There's a handful.
There's a handful. These are the courses that are flawless, right? They're the flagship courses, that GSPro is going to put on their, their little wallpaper, and they're memorable. When you're done playing it, a month later, someone says, "Hey, what's a good course?" They're going to say, "Oh, man, home of the players. That's a great course. It's memorable." Doesn't necessarily have to mean that it's. I think you're going to say the same thing, Mashie, which is what?
I was going to say not memorable because we did it was done because it was a historic venue of some kind.
Exactly.
Memorable because of the quality of the course. You stand on the first tee and you're immersive and you feel like you're there, and you walk off the 18th green, you're like, that was an amazing experience because of the quality of the course design, not because it was home of the players or what I mean, TPC Sawgrass.
Yep. So that's the gauntlet, and moving forward, we're going to start doing this. Yeah, we're excited about the gauntlet.
We're excited. Yep. So that's what we want to announce.
You guys at 20 right now each.
Leave your comments in the YouTube channel. We'd love to get some feedback. It's kind of a work in progress still, but I think we've got a pretty good definition for it, and we got our awards, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. So on with the show, right?
On with the show.
So we had 5 courses this week, and the first one was Elton Furze. Now, I saw this name, and something immediately came in mind when I saw Elton Furze.
Why do you and I think the same thing when we see? We don't talk about this beforehand, and then we come together and look at our slides, and we see the same thing.
It's John Elton's Furze, right?
It's Elton Furze. It's Elton Furze.
So
it's so good.
Yeah, every week I come up with something like that, right?
I got a visual of you swinging right now in a fur coat.
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to play this coat.
Big old glasses.
Yeah, all in fur coats.
Now this is simply Matey. This is his, as far as I can tell, it was his second course, and he's got a third one in beta right now. So he's starting to crank these right along.
Yeah.
He also did fluffing his ham Heath. I mean fluffing him Heath. No,
Luffing about fur coats fluffing. And fluffers. Like
Luffingham Heath. Yeah.
Simply me is like I'm pretty impressed. That's pretty good. Like
that's going to be his niche. Is going to be the fur courses.
Fur and fluffy.
Like, you and I are the mountain guys. He's going to be the fur course guy.
If he does a furry course, where all of a sudden like there's like people walking around in big furry costumes, then we have a real problem.
And then we got Caledonia Golf in
I'm
Fish
excited
Club.
about this one, not because our friend Jay Pruitt did it, but because this is on our list for our guys' golf trip in June.
Oh, that's
so I'm
cool.
excited to see this one come out so I can play it a few times in real life and
that's
get
cool.
my plan down. Yep.
Yeah, get your swing on.
Yep.
Aguilon, or is it Aguilon? Aguilon?
Aguilon.
Aguilon?
I think the L is. I think this L is silent.
Or is it a Y? Aguilon?
Aguilon. I don't know.
By
Spanish sucks.
Bomber Golf Studios, which is friend Bomber, I think, on Discord. And then we got one by Tech Bud, Wheatley Hills.
Wheatley Hills.
And then we got another one, a fifth one here, called Revelstoke.
This one sucks. Yeah. This one's horrible.
Yeah. It popped. That only took me about 7 months to pop through, even with Justin's help. So not very much time into that one.
So Rusty, you and Masta are very similar in their regard that y'all crank out about one course or two courses a year.
This is my fifth course total. Like this
total.
Is
my now you're even with me, man. You're even with me.
No, I take 6 months. I just life, man. You can't, as much as I'd like to do this 8 hours a day, I can't, right? So
the thing is, I am doing a lot of golf related stuff, but it's not all course building now.
You're doing
the V4 videos are just killing me.
And they take time.
They take a lot of time.
They take a lot of time. Whereas I'm putting finishing touches on my next course, and my last course released 3 weeks ago. Now, to be fair, this course I've been working on since November, so it's just happens to be getting to that point. But and I think that'll be my 20th release.
Gosh, man,
wow,
yeah, we'll see.
Good for you
guys
guys
are crazy. So, all
right,
Elton Furze in Peterborough, UK. I had a couple slides on here. So one is I did like the consistency of the colors on here.
Agreed.
And this is T-Box 1. We always put T-Box 1 so you guys get a feel for what the course looks like. He did I think a really good job with, this is V3 still, so he did a good job blending. There's not a lot of hard edges, what I consider, was tough to get rid of in V3. The one thing I wanted to see more of here though was a different style of tree. Looks a little samesies, as Cook would tell me. Hey, it's two samesies here.
Two samesies.
And then he had a very similar grass that he used throughout this reedy type thing. And then also here, I think there's a setting VS Pro to make sure your grass doesn't follow your terrain normals, but point straight up. So this kind of
is a point straight up.
Yeah, it leans in a little bit. I'd like to see that pointing up more towards the sun.
The only thing I would add too is I would have loved to have seen a little bit of variation of the trunks of the trees too. They all look the same. I know the trees themselves look samely, but the color of the tree trunk to me, it's just too white. I'd like to see it a little bit darker and a little more variation. More
and this tree's tough because it's got that knot in the middle, so you just see that knot everywhere. Everywhere you look. And I think that they could also be like darkened a little bit to give a little more shadow appearance.
Agreed. But I mean, overall, I agree with the look and feel. Good course, fun course, no problem playing it. It played fine, and pretty open. Didn't see a whole lot of. I mean, there was some trouble here and there, but wasn't
fair. Very fair.
Fair, yeah. Yep. Good.
And then Caledonia. This is the course that you're gonna play, right?
Yeah, I am in June. We're excited about this one.
Yeah. So this is in Pawnees Island, South Carolina. Is it really a fish club too? Can you go fishing?
It is. My understanding is it really is. Yeah, there's on the water. I don't have all the details on it. It's a private club, is my understanding.
Are you going to do any fishing while you go down there?
Probably not. Our golf trip is all golf. We have 4 guys. We're 4 days, 7 rounds, nonstop golf. It is. We wake up. We get on a course by 8. Sometimes between 6 and 8. We're on the course. Play 18. Drive to the next course. Get lunch. Play 18 more. Go to dinner. Go to bed. There's no drinking. It is a true hardcore golf trip.
Jeez, you ain't messing around.
Nope.
Not messing around. So T-Box 1. So first of all,
this.
It is good. It does look really good. I would like to see, this is Jay Pruitt, right?
Yep.
I want to see him start using some more colors other than like green. He likes green. It's not that it's oversaturated. I like the hues he has here, but maybe work a few more like browns, tans, blues in to give it a little bit more realistic. So what do you think?
Fair. Yeah, I agree. I think I like the way he played off of, like, I feel like he played off of the sat shader colors. Like, he used the green as his foundation, kind of built up from there, which I do like. But I've played golf in South Carolina a fair number, and this feels greener than real life for South Carolina. But I mean, it looks good. I think we're nitpicking a little bit. I love the custom tee markers.
Yeah, they're brilliant.
I think that they're brilliant and they're awesome.
And he had
going to that last course too. It's not hard to make those now. You can even just get some ones out of the base project, right? Like when I see a GSPro tee marker now, I'm like, come on, take 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Put some customs in there. It's not hard.
Now I get it when the Patreon guys do it because they're going to charge extra for every little thing like that. But like the guy doing his home course, it doesn't take much effort. Yeah, agree. No. Now the one thing I don't also, so this I also get the course of some samey stuff with these trees. So these are the trees included with the base package, and you got to be careful with these because I think these are M trees. The texture isn't that great, and if they sit next to each other, that tiling that you get really makes them stand out as very samey.
I have found, again, darkening the trunks especially can help with some of that texturing a little bit. And I've also found what I've done with those trees before is I've duplicated the materials and had 2 different sets of materials and 2 trees in my VS Pro with different materials, so that same tree has different hues to it, even though it's in the same hue range, versus that view. Like I again, same thing with the trunks. They all look the exact same color. Would love to see a little trunk variation in color. The other thing too, by the way, if you go back, and I think we'll see this a little bit later. You'll see this a little bit later, is the more I look at it, I think you and I have talked about this as well, the more I really don't like our pine straw. And I think we'll talk about this a little bit later. And not that the architect and the magician aren't like busy as all get out with V4, but we at some point need to take a look at our pine straw kind of textures and the way we do it, and it could use a little work.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later on. Again, this is going to come up again.
But you can see it here off to the right and to the left. It just I don't love the way the pine straw looks. It's not a Jay Pruitt thing. It's just in general.
No, and it doesn't change in V4 either. We're going to see.
Yep.
So pawn here.
Yeah, I thought this was a great shot. Like, I thought this looked really good. I love having the grasses kind of floating in the middle of the water there. I thought the reflections looked really good. Just in general, I thought it was an overall a good shot of the course, and again, really, really green. Not the fluorescent green. Not a complaint on how green. Don't get us wrong. We're not trying to say it's that, but I just thought it looked really good. I was happy. I thought it was a real nice looking shot.
And then I'm assuming these are waste areas, right?
I don't know. Like you and I talked about this in the pre-show. I assume it's a waste area too. So I took this screenshot for 2 reasons. One, I thought the shadows were perfect.
Yeah.
I love the amount of depth and the amount of transparency in the shadows. It's not too hard, not too light. So that was my original reason for taking this screenshot, because I wanted to show that off. And if you're doing shadows, guys, that this looks good.
Yep.
Then the question really is if this is a waste area, like, I want to see it more waste area. I want to see gravel. I want to see the guy who drove the cart through the waste area stuff. I want to see more grass kind of growing through it. So I don't know if it's a waste area or not. It may not be. It may be pristine and perfect like this here, but I don't know. It's a good question.
Yep. So that was kind of like usually you don't have bunkers that are quite that big.
Yeah.
Now this was a shot that I put in because these deep rough grasses they're good, but this looks procedural to me, which means that it could be better. Typically, I am not going to 100% plant my grasses via a biome, because you get like this more like even spacing. I'm going to use some grasses maybe in the biome, and then I'm going to come back and hand plant some stuff to give it more of a natural look. Just be careful. If you try to do all your grasses via biome, sometimes they don't look great.
But I gotta say, that's a great, like, for those that are listening, that's a great kind of advanced technique, right? Which is use the biome to plant the base of what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Then I come back in like you do as well, and I hand plant not only in the center of the biome to make it thicker in spots or not. I also then do a lot of hand planting around the edge
Yeah.
to make it rougher. So because the grass doesn't grow exactly on the biome line, right?
Right.
So I hand plant in various areas going out into the rough to kind of try to make it a little more natural. So it's a really good advanced technique.
Yep, exactly. Then I
This
like
was
the bridge
cool.
here, like the detail of the bridge. And then here, I think these are the same biome that's planned, but here it looks okay because it's not such a large area. So I like the interspersing here.
Yep, the house, the tree, the birdhouse there.
The only I didn't fly in close to this, but he might not have a normal map on the wood, which would give it a little bit more pop and shadow effect to it if he had like a normal map on there. I can't remember. This might just be a result of a bad screenshot. Yeah, the birdhouse is really good. I thought this hole was just well done.
This is a really pretty shot. This hole was really
when you're there, I want you to take a shot of this hole and let us know what it looks like.
Yeah, it looks good. I love it a lot. I thought it looked really good.
You know, if he played with the PPV on that, he could. I'm the same with you guys. I flew around this course, and there's a ton of detail on this course, so I really like it. But it's got to get more earthy. It's got to get more earth tones on it.
Yeah.
And that's a simple PPV. Go into your PPV and just duplicate what you have and just play around with a new one. I mean, you don't have to redo everything. You just basically got to go in there and spend an hour and see what kind of brings it out more. That earthy.
Here's a question. I know that the magician has tweaked the PPV in the newest base pack. Can you take the prefab for PPV from the newest base pack and replace it in an older base pack and have it work?
I'm sure you could. Will it look good? You don't know. Like I took my old one from some of my older courses and I put it in the new base pack and it was awful.
Was it?
Right.
Yeah, I didn't know whether there were connections or dependencies.
Yeah, you can intermingle them, and I did. And you got to start fresh, right?
Yeah. Okay, got it.
I have about 20 different PPVs on Revelstoke, and I finally settled on one.
Yep. Yep.
So we talk about that later.
Cool.
And then Aguilon.
I like this course.
Aguilon. So this is. Whoa! No words. I don't know.
You're not even drinking. Too much coffee.
Well, the reason is I'm really torn on this course. There are some things that I just love about this course, and there's some things I just want to love, but I don't. And so I'm really kind of mixed on. I don't know, Masta, if you are. It sounds like you are as well.
Yep.
I love. I'm kind of learning. When I started playing and doing this other stuff in GSPro, I think most everybody, I started playing my local courses, and then I started playing some of the more like courses I can't get on or on. And now lately when I have been playing in the sim, I've actually been playing out of the US courses, more of the international courses, because I probably will never get to play them in my life, right? So I really liked that I was in Spain playing on this course. It like kind of felt like I was not like, in Colorado playing on it, which I liked. And so it's a really cool course, and I think Bomber, it's Bomber Friend, right? Friend Bomber.
Yeah, and I
think he did a nice job on it. There's just some things about it. The distances it's not an overly long course, 6,500 from the back. There is trouble. There's a lot of water on it too. But there's so much open and exposed sat terrain that I don't know whether I like it or not. In some areas it works really, really well. And in some areas I'm like, I really wish that you had actually put like a ram road in there versus leaving the road from the satellite image on it. So great looking first hole. I like the colors, by the way. Again, going back to the more earthy that we just talked about, these have a little more blue into it. There's a little more brown into it. It's a little more natural looking from the green perspective. Custom tee markers look great. Custom hole markers look great. Lots of water. I love the mountains off to the back, kind of in the left there. They look. It's just terrain, but it looks really good.
Yeah.
Performance was great. There's no trees.
The one thing I say, so he's got the custom tee markers. I would say turn them though, right?
Turn them. I didn't know what they were until you went up next to them.
I thought it looked like a ball opener at first. I was like, is that ball opener? No, it's a bird. It's a bird.
It's a bird.
Just be aware that you're not going to see them if you don't turn them. And I know they're not turned that way in real life, but they can make sense to turn them. Yeah.
Yep. And then if you go, so what I did was, and both Masta and I have some thoughts on this, which is great. All I did was turn from the first tee 90 degrees left, okay? Because I thought this was a really cool look. This made me feel like I was not in my local area. Like I felt like I was in Spain, and I've been to Spain a few times, and I kind of felt like I was in that part of the country, which I thought was really cool, and the buildings are really cool. And here's where I think the terrain behind the buildings works.
Yes, it looks really good.
Oh, it looks really good. So, and then you also took some shots in here.
Yeah, well, so when I looked at this, and you had put this screenshot in, and understand, like when we review courses, Mashie's looking, I'm looking, and then we're not talking live. You'll see us each other in the PowerPoint, and I'll see him put a screenshot in, and and I'll be like, oh, I know what he's looking at, and I think the same thing, right? So one of the things I saw here, so this green grass, and this is a texture around this pond here, this light texture. And then it's got this green grass. Yeah, the base texture here. And then he's got the green grass on it, which it really conflicts with that. Okay.
Yep.
Now, I've never been to Spain. So I was like, okay, well, maybe that is what it looks like over there. So I went out and Googled the course and I found this image. Now, the saturation is horrible in this in the fairways and stuff. So
God, why do they always oversaturate web images? It drives me crazy.
It's horrible. But what I was more concerned about is the grass area here, and then you can see the grass area around the pond, which is they're not terribly green grasses. They are kind of fescue, wispy, light colored grasses. So that's where I wanted to see here, using the healthy and dry out tint colors, change those out to be something that stands out less, right, than they do there.
Now, and you're right, because with the base texture that he's using, the drier, wispier grasses would look better. They would blend in better versus the green grasses without changing the base texture out. So I completely agree.
Yeah, and even up close, he could put in some really long, light-colored 3DG too. Try that. I'm not sure what it'd be an experiment, for sure.
Yep.
So, but I also like the houses. Like it's really cool that he did those, and you get the feel that where you're at. I thought this was built. This was nice. Yeah.
This was great, and one of the things I liked about this was his bulkhead. Like that bulkhead, I don't know why. Most of the time when we do bulkheads, they're kind of like rough rocks. Like this is like your real life screenshot confirms it. Like these are just completely flat bulkheads, and he has them all over the course everywhere there's water, and there's even some sand bunkers that have the bulkhead around the back because they're against the water. And I just thought it looked really well. It was really well done.
Yeah, and this is where the terrain and exposed terrain in the background with the sat image on it looks amazing.
It looks amazing. It looks great. Yeah.
Yep. I think you captured this one, and we both saw similar things here.
Yeah, and this is again where I thought it was, again, I would have loved to see the wispier grasses and the lighter grasses in here. I love the ram kind of water flowing down. It looked really good to me. And the screenshot isn't really doing it justice because
it looks better than the screenshot.
Yeah, exactly. And like the way the waterfall, it's not even really a waterfall, it's just water kind of coming down a little bit. The way it's going into the water, it looks much better in GSPro. The screenshot didn't capture kind of how it's going out. So that's, sorry, bad for me. I thought it was interesting, like the gravel texture under the water. The water is so transparent at the edges. You can see that gravel texture going down. I don't know if I like it or not. I don't have an opinion personally, but it was just interesting to see how transparent that water was right at the.
I think with V4 Vertex painting, this could change this course dramatically.
I 100% agree.
Yep.
Did find some interesting mesh. This was number 9, green. I found this because this is where my ball went. And you can see where the rough mesh to the fairway mesh are kind of not, and you can see the 3DG going through. My guess is he raised up the rough mesh to be even with the bulkhead, which is causing it to kind of poke through unevenly through the fairway.
Yeah.
It didn't impact gameplay at all, but it was a pretty dramatic visual when my ball hit and rolled over there. I'm like, wow, look at this. It's kind of missing. So just something to look at.
Yeah. I'm not sure what he did there. We were kind of contemplating, did he raise the mesh or what happened?
Yeah.
Can you go back to that? Can you go back? Not to that slide, maybe one with some of the grasses. The only thing I can comment is when I see stuff now, when we first started using VS Pro, we would just render everything at 1.0, 250 meters out. So it would just, on the flyovers, everything would just pop in. And you see it on this course, right? You see all the grasses popping in at the same time on the flyovers. My suggestion to guys is do different render distances. Push the grasses out further and maybe have 3 or 4 grasses in the biome and have them render at different distances. So when the flyover is coming, it's not all there at once. It's not so obvious, right? And we're getting better with VS Pro now. We see it with a lot of guys now. You can kind of
stagger
it in, so it's not so.
Yeah. You can even plant the same grass twice and change the render distance of the same grass.
Yeah, there's so many.
I planted the same grass 3 or 4 times before and had 4 different rendering distances and 4 different sets of hues to give really good depth to the same grass. Yep.
So that's the only thing that kind of I love this course. Like I just unfortunately I'm on the road, so I had to kind of just go over it on my laptop and kind of mouse around. But I really liked it. This course for me, that's the only thing.
I do too. I think the biggest challenge that I had with the course, and I don't want to be nitpicky, right? But it was actually course I felt was pretty darn good right to the edge of the course and right off the edge of the course where it was basically all satellite.
Right.
And so there's
But he planted some light posts on that. Like I zoomed around on the streets.
Yeah, there were some light posts posted, but he didn't.
There's
but he didn't put a RAM. But he didn't put a RAM road on the road. So the light.
I think it kind of works on this course though. But I mean, everything's subjective, right? So I like this course. The only thing I would change is I agree with you guys is the different biomes for the grasses depending on the area, and just change up those render distances. So
this one's a cool course though. I'm excited to play this in the sim. This is a lot of we're nitpicking, but a lot.
Oh yeah, but if it's popping in on the shot cam. Do you know what I mean? Like it should never pop in on the it shouldn't. With the flyover, okay, you're going to get a little bit of popping in and stuff. But what's doing it on the shot cam, I would just change those up a bit. That's just me though. It's not my show, so.
Nope, all good.
And then Harbour Town. So yeah. So Pac-Man and JG did some of the buildings on here, and Pac-Man is like, I'm going to give him a cape, because when there's something on the tour. When there's something on the tour and then it's not an SGT, Pac-Man swoops in and saves the day. And I meant to reach out to him before the show to say, when did you start this and when did you finish it? Because I bet he started it a week and a half ago.
I don't think he sleeps.
Oh man, it's just
I don't know how he does it.
So obviously,
by the way, I want to add one thing. As someone who's done that, as someone who took 2 weeks to build an SGT tournament course, so we had it, I won't do it again. It's so much work. It's so much pressure. I won't do it again. So Pac-Man, they're all yours.
Yeah, and he, God bless him. That's all I can say.
Yeah, he's older than me too. I thought I was the oldest guy in our scramble the other day. And he's 53 or something.
Yeah, he came
in
over.
Looks like you said, Masta. He looks like he's 20.
Yeah,
but
so off the tee box, here it is. It's a great remake. A lot of people are asking, when's this going to get redone? And so Pac-Man to the rescue. So I went flying around, and this is unfortunately is an area that most people aren't going to see. Well, I see it because I hit balls in here all the time. This looked like an oil painting, right? I zoomed in here, and like the green color of the water, the grass around here, this looks like a freaking oil painting. It's unbelievable.
It's so good.
Yep,
it's so good. He did so. This is really, really great mastery of color, texture, and picking the right assets.
You know what I think we need to do at some point? We need to come up with a dream team. That if you're going to make the most perfect course, I think Pac-Man would do grasses. Like if you had put the dream team together to do like the next home of the players, who would you have? And Pac-Man is the grass man.
Yeah.
So this is what we were talking about earlier, which is we're not fans of the pine straw. And now up close, it looks fine because you get in there and then you get the 3DG pine straw. But from a distance, to me, it still looks flat. And I think Pac-Man did a great job on this, but he's under a time crunch. And I could tell because I think normally he would have added a little bit of something to put some depth in here. I'm not sure what it is. Some additional grasses, some pine cones, some shrubbery or landscaping around the houses. But I mean, under his time crunch, he got it out for us to play.
You know what I think will help with that is on V4 is the slope shader. You can maybe pump that up a bit. I don't know how much that'll help when it's flat, but
there's also the in Blender, the random like mesh to make the mesh go up and down a little bit more. I'd like to see what that looks like, and that would even exaggerate the slope shader.
Right. See, I think it's I don't I'm gonna
I don't have
I'm
an
gonna
answer.
disagree a little. I'm gonna disagree a little bit on that because, like, listen, if the pine straw is, if the LiDAR is, and this is what it is, I don't want to add individual.
Yeah, but LiDAR doesn't pick up on that little like pine straw lumpiness.
Understand. What I would love to see. So yeah, I could see that. But I would love to see. I wish there was a way that we could have, because it's designated as pine straw. As soon as a tree gets planted in it, it would plant little tufts of grass along the base of the trees or something.
I thought someone had done that, but
just so you don't have to because manually going back in and planting grass on every single trunk here is a pain in the ass, right? But if there was a way to automate some of the
well, I'm even thinking of some type of vertex material.
Some sort of vertex paint. You give vertex paint around the tree, and then it would actually plant some grass. I don't know, but like it needs depth. It's too flat, and it's not a Pac-Man comment. This is just a pine straw comment. It's too flat. Tech did a really nice job with the pine straw in Georgia Golf Club, as we talked about, but he had to manually go in and add roots.
He had the time.
Cones
he had the time to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. So, flying around on so the first thing when I look at a course, I look at from the tees and I stay low, and then I do the flyovers. And I noticed on the flyover, which is really cool, is this estuary. So this is like kind of where like creeks roll under the. I don't know if it's a bay, the ocean here. That's where my geometry gets really bad. Geometry.
Geography, you mean?
By the way, I only have a little bit of champagne left. It's almost gone. But I thought this looked really cool. This is just his sat. This is just exposed terrain, and he probably didn't even have to spend that much time on it. He just put the sat image on there, and it looks really cool. So I moved out even further to look down on this, and it looks like a real coastline. It's really neat.
It does. It's really cool.
I think this is 18. So I played 18. And I had to fly around. And then there's the boat harbor over here. So there are a couple of things I had to laugh about here. And not laugh about these were mistakes. I laugh because this is what happens when you build courses. And someone had made a comment. See this sailboat right here? And I wouldn't even have seen this. Someone commented on this, and I viewed it. It's too far. It's too far. You don't even see it. I mean, come on.
You can't see it.
You can't see it. Yeah.
Maybe a storm just rolled through there.
Yeah, right? But like if you watch it, like the water laps over the top, and I'm like, you don't see it. It's fine. But then there's also an area of the bay, and this is a pack. I have to look for stuff. And I'm not saying fix this. It's just fun stuff, which is the sat makes it look like we've got sunken ships in the bay.
We do.
I love it.
Big storm rolled through there.
Came through and sunk everything.
One ship was saved.
Yeah.
He's out of here. He's leaving.
And you don't see this stuff. You don't see this. You don't see this stuff. And it's this is just us trying to find makeup shit.
Funny. I saw that slide. I had a good chuckle when I saw it. I'm like,
but this looks obviously from the 18th hole and everything you really see while you're playing. Everything looks great, Pac-Man. Nice job.
Looks great. Nice job, Pac. One thing to note, and it was in the Discord on that one, is it won't get changed till after the tournament is over. The coming up 18 on the left side is in real life red hazard. So it's not a distance plus stroke. Pac-Man has it as an out of bounds. So be careful when you're playing.
Yeah, it's probably this area.
Be careful when you're playing that one. It'll get fixed and be normal after the tournament's over. Can't change it in the middle of the tournament.
Just be thankful that we're playing Harbour Town, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And then we have one by TechBud, right?
Yeah.
So this is Wheatley Hills in Willingston, New York. So you can always expect consistently when you get something from TechBud. Now here is, I think, another challenge you and I could have is if the Patreon guys told us if they design like on 3 levels or 2 levels or whatever they do, like
we need carnival music. It's like a new, like you put some like a new feature, like a new segment here, like
a new segment.
Carnival music.
So when now Harbour was volunteer from him. He did that out of the goodness of his heart. That wasn't Patreon. He said, there's a need, I'm going to fill it. But this, I'm sure, is a commission by Tech. I want to guess on what the level of the course build was. So if it's a basic, a medium, or that's what I was going to say too, because
it may be a medium, because I think didn't Tech tell us when he's on the show that he charges for cart paths.
Oh, you're right.
So this may be a medium because he
hates doing cart paths. Let's face it, they're a pain in the ass. Yeah.
Oh.
And so he's like, if you want cart paths, you got it. It's part of my next build up, not the basic build.
Yeah, so you're right. This wouldn't be basic. This would be kind of like a middle tier.
That's my guess.
Yep.
But I love that. We should start guessing and seeing who's right on what tier it is for the Patreon guys.
Because let's face it, this is no Georgia Golf Club. Right.
Listen, I got to tell you, and this is not a comment.
And he knows this too. He knows.
Yeah. Take this with a grain of salt. This is not a comment on the quality of the course, like the build you did. I don't like this course. I thought the course was boring. I thought the course was. I did play this one. I thought the course was.
It's unremarkable.
It's unremarkable. I did not walk away remembering any holes on this course. Nothing to do with how you built it. I'm just saying the course itself was somebody's home course that, I don't.
Yeah.
I didn't love.
You and I saw the same thing here.
Yeah, a couple of just small design things we did see is you can see the red line, the 3DG below it on the bottom half. It's really green, and on the top half, it is a much lighter green on the texture color. And so what happens is I noticed this just as it was a shot, Rusty, to your point, when the shot cam was moving, it was a wall of green moving with the shot cam as it went from the lighter green up front to the darker green in the back. So there's a bit of tweaking that needs to happen on
this. This was another one when you put the screenshot in. I saw it. And I was like, oh, he sees the same thing because I was adding this.
That one. Yep, there it is. There's the wall. You can see it clearly right there.
Yeah, and it's not. I made the wall. I made it really stand out here because I went down, so there's a hill that drops here. So now what you're doing is you're seeing the texture in the background, and you see the difference here. It really stands out. And actually, the screenshot doesn't capture it as well as when I saw it on course.
And that's a great point too. For those of you that think we don't review these together, we review these courses independently. We put our own screenshots in, and then we get together before we record the show and talk about each course.
And we see a lot of the same stuff. It's amazing.
It's amazing how much we see of the same stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
I wasn't invited for that part, by the
way. Sorry, you were flying. You're in the air.
Yeah, I pulled Starbucks lineup.
I pulled this one because I don't know what trees these are. They're not the standard bait. They weren't moving with the wind. I put it on the breeziest setting I could put, and they were still as could be. So just a heads up for you, those trees are just not moving.
It's probably just the Arboretum wind activation checkbox.
Must be or something. Yeah.
Yep. Some floaters.
And then I did find this was left to 7. There was some of this grass there, and it was floating above. It looks like there was some terrain work that was done, and the grass didn't adjust to it. So it's not dramatically noticeable, but if you go a little bit left, you can see the floating grass there.
Yep.
He's like, whatever, I got paid for it. Move on.
Yeah, exactly. He's not. Yeah, exactly.
So this was something I found, which is the same issue that you had, which was. See the arrow is pointing here. This is not LOD 0, but I think it's the LOD 1 of this tree.
1 or 2, yeah.
He's got this the metallic or the shader not turned all the way down. Because what happens is see how this tree here is like white and the bark, and this one's now if I move a little closer, now that one is it goes dark, perfect. And this one's still white because I haven't got close enough to it yet. So just a little bit of, I think that's the metallic that happens in V4.
I had the same
thing.
You
guys catch everything, hey? Holy snap!
Yeah. Not everything.
I had the
not
same
everything.
Thing but on Austin Country Club, and actually Masta found it. I had 5 different oaks that I used on Austin, and on one oak on LOD 2, I did not turn the specular down, and they found it and pointed it out and had to go fix it. So
good.
Eagle eyes.
And we have our guest.
Now we're going to introduce our special guest. Here he is. Hey, thanks for coming on the show, Rusty.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
So
sorry it took so long, but I'm glad the hotel Wi-Fi is hanging out too, so I can actually be part of this.
I'll tell you what, you got some good hotel Wi-Fi because your video's been good.
Yeah.
Your video's been solid. Let me move us back in the video here.
Yep.
Your audio's been good.
Good.
And so let me preface, so RustyDave, you've been had. Did you know that? You've been tricked?
You've been tricked.
I assume so. When you guys start talking, I'm assuming this has got to do something with this gauntlet. I'm like, I tried to question you guys all week about this.
That's not even.
So you said
you wouldn't tell me shit about it.
Yeah. So you thought you had access to all the slides, and you don't.
No. We only gave you access to a very small subset
that we wanted you to see. Right.
Hang on.
Yeah. So of course.
Do I need to call in sick for today? Am I going to just curl up in the corner of the hotel room here and cry myself to sleep?
So RustyDave, okay. And do you want us to call you Rusty or Dave or RustyDave?
I don't care. Call me.
Because I mean, really, at the end of the day, you have to ask, what's in a name? All right, what's in a name?
What is in a name?
What is in a name? What's in a name? So, the latest thing going out on the internet is this Chat GPT. Have you played with this, guys? This Chat GPT?
I have a ton. I have absolutely used it a lot.
So it's this natural language artificial intelligence program that has this huge data lake of information at its disposal. And you can ask it anything. And it comes back it's crazy. Like, it's very accurate. Well, for the most part, it's accurate, but it's like talking to a person.
Yep. I asked it once.
I'm afraid, boys. Just get it over with. What did it come up with?
Can you tell me about TechBud?
Hold on. That's work calling. I got to go. Sorry.
I actually asked it once. I said, can you tell me about TechBud? And it gave me a whole litany of stuff about TechBud. It was perfect.
And this is the reason I had to drink a whole bottle of champagne, was to make sure that I was able to put these slides in here and speak to them. So I went into Chat GPT and I said, hey, Chat GPT, what is Rusty Dave known for? Right? Oh my God. And it came back and it said, Rusty Dave is known for being the namesake of the rusty trombone. And I was like, what is... Yeah. Do you guys know what this is?
There's an evolution to my name. It's pretty bang on so far. Let's see what else you got.
Okay, so I didn't know what this was, so I Googled it. So I'm going to insert some music right now while you two go out and Google go ahead, Google what a rusty trombone is. Yeah. Right? And so, I'll add some music here, and you guys can. I was completely surprised, but I'll give the listeners at home a little bit of time.
You may want to put the in-private browser on your phone or something.
Yes. And Rusty, search for it. Just want to make sure that your wife doesn't watch the show, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, good.
Okay, good. All right. So,
whoa. Wow. Wow. Jesus.
I assume everybody else had the same reaction. So now
that's a past life there, boys. I think that's gonna come up.
Those were the college days.
Yeah. Experiments back
so then. I'm not, because we want to keep Taco Bell as our sponsor. So I'm just not.
Taco Bell's long gone after last week, boys.
Oh yeah.
We need some pings, though. Yeah,
so,
I hope not.
But we do want to thank you for coming on the show. So because you are known for the rusty trombone, we decide we're sending you a sweatshirt. Oops, let me back up. There it is. There's the sweatshirt we're going to send you. The Rusty Trombone Orchestra.
We are announcing our merch online merch store will go available, and this will be the first item for sale, so everybody can buy the Rusty Trombone sweatshirt. And
I got a GSPro one coming, so I'll add that to the
nice.
And it's funny, guys. I see guys on their streams; they've all got their golf shirts on and stuff like that. Then there's guys like us. We're all in our hoodies and just don't care. That's awesome, boys. That's hilarious. But that wasn't where I thought this was going, to be honest. But
good. If you had thought it was going here, there's a much larger issue that we have.
Right on. That's pretty good.
But
actually, if my wife sees this episode, she'd probably laugh pretty hard.
Well, not yet. We didn't actually get to that part yet. I'm just telling you.
We're still going. We're not done yet. We're still going. Get ready.
Now,
we're scrolling. Gotta go.
Now, in all seriousness, Rusty Dave, you are a pilot, right?
Yep.
And you've got the hair of a pilot for sure. I'm looking, and so I did again, this is all Chat GPT coming back and said, hey, before Rusty Dave got into golf course building, he was a part of Flyapalooza. So there you are participating in Flyapalooza.
Which plane is yours? So I bet Rusty at all. I bet Rusty can name every single plane there, not airline, but what plane. Where's yours? Where's the 37? You're rated on 37.
Where's the 37? I don't know. It's in there somewhere. I see.
But you really know how to fly in formation. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty good. That'd be a little scary. We'd be getting a lot of alerts going off at that point.
That's out of LAX too. You can see the airport in the background.
I was in LA yesterday, actually. I flew out of LAX. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, going to Palm Springs today. Probably my favorite place to go into with all the golf courses. We don't stay there. We just do a turn. But I love flying in there. But
now
a lot of planes there.
Now this is where so I reached out to. I have a pilot friend of mine who I went to high school with, and I said, hey. Because I did a little bit more cyber stalking on you, and I went on to LinkedIn, and I found your profile in LinkedIn, and this was your profile picture. Okay.
Oh, sweet.
And I was looking at this, and I reached out to a friend of mine who is a pilot, and I said, so the uniforms that you guys wear, what do the stripes mean? And he said to me, look, you can't tell anybody this, but the stripes mean how many times you've joined the Mile High Club. So I was really surprised to see Rusty Dave's picture.
I was so impressed. Like, that is I'm envious. Like, that's awesome.
Wow, that's probably why I've been married 8 times also.
I was just I just said either your wife doesn't watch the show, or I hope she travels with you quite a bit.
Oh, she knows. We got friends in the industry. She knows. I'd be dirt poor if I did anything anyway. So
that was the best.
Usually the guys that can retire at 65 are the guys that have only been married once. It's the guys that after 65, they're on their 3rd wife, got to go pretty much children in a wheelchair.
That was the best answer ever, Dave. I love that answer. They made 8 different ones. That was epic. Thank you that was perfect.
Yeah, no problem.
And by the way, the stripe down here that has them both linked together, guess what that is?
I'll just leave that alone.
What stripe are you looking at? Which stripe?
At the bottom.
Yeah, the second one up. They actually connect together. That's getting kinky. Yeah.
Yeah, that's maybe back to that rusty trombone. That's the rusty trombone stripe there, badge right there.
All right, let's get into your course. This course that we had 4 of us play it yesterday.
I think I played through this like 3 times, honestly.
The Masta and I played Jet and Crazed in a scramble yesterday, and then Rusty called in. He was watching from the plane.
I was sitting there on the airplane. I'm like, hey, I got a few minutes here. I'll check in on the boys, see what they're doing.
It was good. We had a good time. It was a fun course.
Yeah. Like
so 6 months in the works, right? So here's hole number 1, and what you did on here, which I thought was we got a lot of kicks out of this, is you went around and every T sign you put somebody's name on it. So we decided to change the name of this course from Revelstoke to Ego Stroke. Because thank you for stroking the egos of all the people in the GSPro community. I'm hole number 5.
There's a story behind this, and if you got a moment, I'll tell you. This is basically, and I didn't want to offend anybody and leave them out. So these are the guys that have been around a while, and basically Justin came. We have these are actual hole signs at Revelstoke, and on the bottom of those is advertising. So he's like, "What should we put there?" And we started making some jokes about stuff we'd put there. We were going to initially, do some advertising for like the Patreon guys or stuff like that. And he sent me some funny. Just to piss people off what we put down there. And then it eventually turned into, hey, let's make this a tribute course. And we thought, okay, well, let's do like a GSPro tribute course, kind of guys that kind of go above and beyond. And I'm like, well, no, let's do something for the OPCD guys. So these are the guys that really, like you guys with your B2B and obviously with all your videos, Masta, the kind of guys that selflessly give to the community. Now that's why I named the 18th hole the community, because there's a ton of guys that didn't get mentioned, and I didn't want to offend anybody, but these are kind of the guys that really, go out of their way, starting with DPR, like financially not getting any rewards. This is purely.
I was upset that you didn't put me on the 19th hole personally, but whatever.
I thought about the 19th hole, and I'm just like, well, yeah.
But you're right, because there's no without DPR and John and Sting,
without anybody really. Like
it's just, we don't even have the tools.
Good community, right? Like this is the community. I much prefer to hang. Like I enjoy GSPro, but I really enjoy hanging with the guys from the design community, and like Pud and I go back and forth almost daily on messaging and stuff like that. So it's just it's such a great community of guys that these guys all
blood, sweat, tears, man.
From him, but
we've all had the same blood, sweat, and tears.
So that's it turned into a tribute course, and that's kind of what I gave the 17th. We struggled over an 18th name because there's so many guys, right? Like Sim Golf and Jayette. But
the community is the community is a great one. I think it's a very classy and a very good thing to put the community on 18, because you're right. We all benefit. Every one of us has benefited from.
That's actually DPR's Camaro on the left side there. The last hole DPR.
There it is.
You can only see that off the blue tee. And there's some other cars there you can't see. I got John Meyer's old farmer truck. And I got Pud's
nice.
like 1989 Cutlass.
Nice.
Right, and then there's one you'll see at the end there for that one guy and that one asshole on the course that's got to park his fancy car by himself. We'll deal with that at the end.
So I was, and it's funny because I was putting these slides in. I'm really messing with Rusty Dave because he could see me adding these slides, and he saw me put this slide in here, and he's probably thinking, oh shit, he's picking apart my biomes, my billboard colors, right?
Which is funny because I've changed this since this.
And it wasn't that I was picking them out at all, because as most people should know by now, is I look at the course initially from the golfer, and then it's only when I see something, because I don't think if I see something from here, it doesn't matter. Okay, so it looks like they don't match, but here's what I was pointing out, which was
they're perfect.
Yeah, they're perfect in that, like someplace like here, what you're actually doing is you're matching, which is really the shadow color to the billboards out here, and it's completely fine and it works extremely well.
I struggled with that.
It's not easy.
I struggled with the billboards because I've got the different biomes there. Like the ones on the hill, they just have a 0 render distance. They're just strict. They're strict billboards, right? And you go the other way on the course, and they look completely different. So I kind of set a neutral one there. Where I struggled with was on, if you go back to that last picture. So on the course, okay, those are all NM trees and stuff like that. I tried to match the billboard to the shadowed version.
Yes.
And I did not know this. Like, I'm still learning stuff, right? Like I said, it's only my 5th course, but I tried to match the billboards to the shadow. And then I noticed when Eagles and Birdies did my first flyover, there was this area, because I didn't know this, the shadows only go out to 500 meters.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So on the flyover, and I like to push my trees out further than that, just because I seem to have the room performance wise. So I'll push my trees out to like 800 meters before they billboard. I don't like, on the flyovers, you'll get some billboarding. That's fine. But I don't like, and this is a DPR thing that he told me a while back, is he doesn't like on the shot cam, I don't want to see any billboards.
Agreed.
Right.
Unless
so
it's way
I pushed my trees out. But the problem was, so the shadow stopped at 500. And then there was this light area of non-shadowed rendered trees, and then my dark billboards. Right.
Yeah.
So one of the last things I did is I went and I just matched all my course trees to the non-shadowed version. They're thinking about pushing the shadows out to like 750 meters. But again, you're still going to get this. I don't know if that's going to change anything or not, but trying to match those to the shadow was a real pain in the ass. So I gave up, and at the end and just dealt with the shadow stuff. But I changed the mid trees there, like the conifers and stuff like that. I've changed them now just to the non-shadow and stuff. So it just seems a little more seamless.
Cool. It looks good. It looks really, really good. And you're right, thanks. From a performance perspective, performance was great on this course. And the fact that you got basically just true billboards back up in the mountains. I was going to ask you, what mountain assets are you using back there?
So those are the Himalaya pack, and I'd have to check where they were, because we've got the you've got the hill pack from the meadow package, then you've got the mountain package. Right, these are the actual Himalaya ones. And
did you backport them, or were you able to use them as?
No, we used them. We used them. It was actually Justin who had those.
Nice.
Right, so,
they're good. They're good looking mountains.
Yeah, they are good looking mountains, and I've got to give them credit there. So a few things, all those rocks, and I have to credit, like, as you guys like to call them, stinger eye.
Stinger.
I basically all those rocks across the way, that they're just all strictly billboards. I've got 0 render distance on them. I put them in as a tree and billboarded them.
Yeah.
And that was huge performance, because initially I just hand planted them all, and my file size went to like 1.6 gigs on the build. Right. So I'm like, okay, well, this isn't going to work. So did that. And then the clouds were kind of the neat thing. And again, those are the
nature manufacturer
particle effects.
There's 2 of them. There's the ones that Stinger backported, which is the particle clouds. So you kind of see them on the lower end. And if you kind of see on the mid, there's some river mountain pack clouds.
Yep.
So those are so there's 2 different kind of cloud prefabs in there. The biggest thing and the challenge I had, so basically Justin played this course before anybody else. I kind of sent it to him, and the mountains are beautiful, but they're in your face. So he's like,
they're right up front. Yeah.
They're right up front. So he's like, they're kind of, it's a beautiful course, but kind of like the mountains are in your face. You should try some clouds. So I have to give him credit for it. And then it took me about 9 builds to get the clouds right. And I know, Mashie, you used them on Bear Dance, right?
I did.
Right? That's kind of the first guy. The only thing I found with all that stuff, and don't take this the wrong way, it's on my projector and stuff like that, they come in super gray. And it's is this thing on fire? Right? Is there a forest fire here right now? Because even on Pud's course recently that he had the particle clouds, it's like they come in super gray and it looks like the bloody course is on fire.
So it depends. I found it depends on your video card, which is really interesting. It's a combination of video card and advanced lighting, because in my setup, I was able to find out from different angles, like on my main machine at the house that I build on, they look fine. In my sim downstairs, depending upon the way I set the lighting, and then yes, you could look gray. Sometimes it looked black on some.
Yeah, I had to lighten them up. It took me a while to figure out how to do it, but I basically ended up lightening them both up and changing the color to white. And then it took me, like I said, 7 or 8 builds to kind of. And Justin made a good point. He goes, "Oh, here we go. Here's gonna, the clouds are gonna start coming now on all the courses." So I think it's easy to screw up. Right. And like I said, it's just not something I popped in there and it was done. I literally had to do it like 8 times, go downstairs on my projector, fly around, like, no, that looks like crap, change it around and stuff. Like it's all these things with course building, right? It's just time, right? It
takes time.
You can be lazy and just be happy with what you have, or you can do it right.
It looks great. The water reflections look great. The course overall plays really well. What's the next one? Where are we going now?
Yeah. So this is, this is a little thing that, Masta said, hey, talk about some slides you're proud of. So this one, there was a lot of bunker work where the bunkers came into the semi or the fairway. Yeah. Right. And now with V4, I think we've kind of figured out that on the bunker blend, most guys are going to use the 3D grass.
Yep.
Right. That's just kind of what looks best, kind of towards the left part of that picture.
Yeah. Yep.
Problem is now on the whole perimeter of that bunker, you're going to have 3D grass.
Right? Yeah, which you can't have when you've got the semi right there.
So I basically went into Blender, and each bunker like that, I basically broke the blend up.
Yep.
It took me so long, and I'm gonna guess like 15 plus hours. It created these little micro gaps, right? So I had to go into Blender and fix the gaps and re-export, re-import, redo the materials. So it was very time consuming on that end, right? And it's a little touch that probably only you guys would notice.
It looks good.
Well, there's a ton of gaps. And again, I could have been, and they were very small, and I could have probably just been like, yeah, whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm neurotic. So I fixed them. But if I was to do it over, I would, like, on the next course or whatever, is this stuff again, I will do that again. However, I will do this exporting all my meshes, right? Because it's an easy fix. It literally takes like 30 seconds.
You're just you're editing the blend and then just breaking it apart.
So I mean, there's stuff that again, so guys won't probably notice this, but this is probably the most time consuming part of the whole build for me was these bunkers.
Got it.
Right.
They look good. They look great. And it's a good, and and a lot of folks got this, I heard this comment as well, and I actually agree. And I know DPR kind of showed how to do this, which is fantastic. I love how you put the red hazard line around the hazards. It's great.
Well, he mentioned it. I mean, you guys are part of that, the alpha chat or whatever it is, right? So he'd mentioned maybe, this is a possibility you could do. So kind of sitting there one night, I'm like, all right, let's try. And I have to credit DPR in this whole course. He spent a lot of time with me, right? This is an alpha, right? So the 3 of us are you're dealing with stuff that hasn't been done yet, right? So there's a lot of questions. He came, even one night he came in, he logged on whatever that screen share is that we use. He came in and he basically brought in all his updated slope shader material. He brought in all his updated DG material for me, just as a kind of last stuff, just to kind of get this stuff. So he went above and beyond with me on this course. Like he spent hours helping me out, right? And even John Meyer, from this became you got now the bake, so you can paint a black texture on there and then remove your 3DG. This is something that I didn't have in my base project, right? So, and there's just a picture of the the vertex painting, right? So the green is the red hazard line. The red is the normal 3DG, and the blue, it's reading 3 blades of grass there. So the first blade of the red, the second blade is the green, which I've got. I don't want to confuse anybody, but I've got the red 3DG on the green channel.
Yep.
And then the blue,
it gets confusing. Hopefully, we'll
it is. But the blue is the long blade that I have.
Yep.
And then the black is no 3DG. So if you go to the next slide, there
you can see it right
there.
Right. Yep.
So and now he's made that part of the Blender package now, right? So it's just one click.
Yep.
Right. Which is awesome. So the guys could just use it now. And then this one,
This is a great example of vertex painting that you did here as well. I like that. I love the way you're going to show this. This is great.
Yeah, so I went around. There's a lot of areas on this course. And again, this is just time. And the guys that like to tinker on courses and play around, like the CE Sim Golfs or you guys, stuff like that, this is where it's really going to show. And so these are all, they come in all red standard. So red texture is just your base texture stuff like that. So I went around, and this course has got a lot of, I don't want to call them dead areas, but like a lot of
worn areas,
worn areas, stuff like that. So
dried out.
So basically, I went in on a light setting on the vertex paint and started painting in the blue texture, which is kind of that worn look.
Yep.
And so if you go to the next slide, there you go. You can kind of see it there. But what I've done is now, from a distance, it's completely got that worn look. But as I start to get closer, and this is what I talked about before, my grasses start to render at different distances. So when you're right there, the grasses are full on. But if you go back, right, they're just starting to. And even back further from that, you'll have no grass, but you'll have kind of that dead area. Because I didn't want that hard transition or that hard just. Right. Yeah. So there's stuff like that. So there's little things like that guys can use, and that goes back to just.
So in this screenshot right here, just so people understand, you're not seeing brown grass. Okay, you're seeing a brown texture that he painted on with vertex painting, and then when you zoom in, so this is important, you have brown grass in there. So the brown grass starts to render, but it matches at least the hue of the brown that you used here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. I don't want anything to stand out on my courses, and that's kind of what.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Some guys that, there's been some comments that I don't have a ton of color and stuff like that, or vibrant colors, but that's kind of my eye. That's, if you look at all my courses,
I think those are people that see too many photos, right?
Maybe.
And people forget the vast majority, as we talked about earlier, the vast majority of what you see on the web is so oversaturated that's not real life. Yeah. Now, there are those exceptions, like when I did go to Augusta in real life, that course is absolutely stunning and beautiful. But even then, I think that the pictures of that are oversaturated.
Yeah. So that's kind of how. And then there's another one here. Now this is just this is what I did in Blender, and literally took me 30 seconds for the whole course. So I picked all my fairway splines, and you guys can do this now. So the guys coming up with V4. What I did is, there's a basic, your red material, your red texture, which is just my normal fairway texture. And then I have mow lines, but I don't want to have my mow lines go right to the edge, right? It just doesn't look natural. So I put my black texture as my mow line and inset it on all my fairways in about 2 seconds. And then I went in and I put about a 5% blue in there, which is the worn look. Right, yep. So you've got that worn fairway, because this is not Augusta. This course, this is like it's a uni course.
People play it,
right?
Yep.
All right. So I wanted a little bit of a worn look. So that's just something, again, in V4 that literally took me a minute.
And you
for
did that.
All fairways.
You did that in Blender.
I did that in Blender, and he's got a ton of stuff now in Blender. What I didn't,
and you can do it in both, right? I mean, you could hand paint it in Unity if you want to do it that way.
But all my stuff, like even on my tee boxes and stuff, I inset that black for the mow lines, because the mow lines on this, they do have them on the tee boxes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I went in with the divots.
Of where they hit
Yeah. My divots, I manually planted and stuff like that. So I brought yardage markers out, and I have 250 from the blue tees. I went and did a bunch of divot action and stuff like that, little things like that. But cool. It's pretty cool tool that they've come up with, and this is a kudos to Justin, Jixrod, right?
JG did this one, not Justin. JG did this.
Yeah, what's that?
Well, his name is Justin.
Oh, he is Justin too.
Yeah,
he is Justin.
But there is Justin as well.
And then we got JGXrod. But
yeah,
so they're
JG
the same guys. And
did this one.
So JG. So I sent the GM of this course a few notes, emails saying, hey, can you look over this? So he verified a few things with me, and he was blown away by how accurate this was. So if you look at Revelstoke in BC here, close to where I live, that is actually the clubhouse. So big shout out to him. And then I've got DPR's stakes and ropes. You do that all in Blender. That took me 2 seconds. And then I just had to remove a couple on the end there so guys can walk in and use the putting green and stuff like that. But
I would say that the new V4 Blender tools are much more intuitive.
I agree.
You kind of work down that list from top to bottom as you go.
Top to bottom, and you can do your stuff. Yep.
I think that's what DPR said. He just wanted guys to design. He wants to take the work out of stuff, so you guys, we can spend more time. It's like, we all used to have to retopo or retype whatever that was, and that's all done for you now. So it's awesome, right? Yeah. And then there's always that. Remember I mentioned before. There's one a-hole that's got to park his fancy car. I don't know if you can zoom in on that or not, but let's see if you can you zoom in on that slide at all?
I see it.
No. No. All right.
It's
anyway.
Right
yeah, I should have got a closer shot.
No, you'll have a smaller screen, but the people on the video this will be really big for them. They'll see.
Yeah, so this is a little Easter egg or whatever you want to call it, to shout out to JGXrod, right, for all his hard work. And if you know this guy, that's not him at all. And that was the first comment when I posted that picture in our little Discord group. He came back. He's a humble guy. Yeah, you know me so well. It was. Funny,
he does such good work too. His work is amazing to the community. Yeah, I think.
Well, he actually came to me with this course and said, do you want to work on it together? And I'm like, well, sure. And then it kind of turned out, because I'm working on Pebble, right? But guys are like, well, I want Pebble now. I couldn't done the new tools with Pebble because I didn't know anything. Right. So I learned so much on this course with the new tools.
I'm the same way. I'm working through Hershey with the new tools, and then I'm going to go back to Kapalua.
Right.
Yeah. There's so much to learn with the new tools. It's good to not do it on your signature course.
Yep.
Actually, DPR messaged me when I was talking to him one night. I was getting a little frustrated because it's new with the tools and I knew nothing. He says, that is more panic than I need from my pilot. Right. So it's a good crew, and there's been from the guys alpha testing and beta testing, there's been a ton of changes those guys have made with the new base package. This is an old base package, so I had to get them to come in and help me out with a lot of stuff, to update stuff. So
well, my friend, congratulations. It is a fantastic course. It is very, very well done. The attention to detail is unprecedented. And I love the work you're doing with all of the new V4 courses, so with V4 tools and stuff in it. And you're utilizing everything. Like, it's not like an aspect of the V4 tools. You're utilizing.
Well, it's fun, right?
Yeah,
it's fun to learn and play around. And honestly, it's nice for us too, the guys that aren't doing this for a living.
Yep.
Right. I don't need to get the course out in a week.
Yep.
If it takes me a year, it takes me a year. Whatever.
Yep. Yeah, that's the way.
All right, Masta.
So the MPOW. Must play of the week. Yeah, I don't think this is really a hard one.
This is not a hard one. I'm going with Revelstoke.
Yeah,
I can't say it right.
I think we had unanimous decision this week on Ego Stroke or Revelstoke.
Yep, an Ego Stroke. Yep.
Yeah.
But we're gonna keep going.
Yes. So we did find one thing though.
We found something wrong. We found something.
Oh yeah, I fixed that.
But not when we took a screenshot. Yeah. It wasn't.
And you know what? You guys found this last night, probably after the Blitz.
No, actually, found it before the Blitz.
When we were in the beta league playing, we found it.
Okay, yeah. So those are all custom for meshes, and there's about 30 of them. What I wanted there was Is there even 3DG on that?
No, it's just missing all grass.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's a deep rough area that's just missing all grass.
It's off of 7. You'll see it. Okay. Yeah.
I'm making a note right now.
We had to find something.
No, and look how. Oh, you're on because you flew around with this because you're not.
No, this was actually. I think Jay hit one in here yesterday and was like, "Wait, this says deep rough, but there's no 3DG and there's no like GSPro grasses in here saying that makes it look like deep rough.
No, I had about 30 custom splines that are supposed to be. Well, that's just missing the. That's just missing the deep rough.
There's so much stuff.
Those the custom 4. There's for some reason again an early version of the tools that I played around with 6 or 7 of them didn't take to the rough physics. Right, so I literally went in there yesterday and changed them all.
But it is good to know you are human and that you missed something.
But it's frustrating too because you spend hours and hours trying to go over everything, and still the little things pop up. It's like, but it's good. I think it's getting played on tour next week.
Yep.
Unless Pac-Man comes up and does another course in 3 days. Right, so it's good that the Blitz got it and you guys got some stuff, so I could make those changes before Monday.
Yeah, so we introduced the gauntlet at the beginning of here, and like really it's kind of we're moving from here on out. But Mashie and I talked, and we feel like, hey, in order to really kick off the gauntlet, let's give 2 courses the recognition I think that they really deserve here, right? Yep. Mashie, do you want to say something here? Let me just throw this up.
So. Rusty, congratulations.
Sorry, Ego Stroke. I'm sorry.
Ego Stroke, Revelstoke.
There we go.
Congratulations on the first ace. Again, there will be a very small number of aces given out. Man. It is an example of what we talked about. It is just a top tier exemplary course. The attention to details over the top. It plays extremely well. So congrats on the absolute first ace award or badge from us.
Yep. So you will
Thank you for all this stuff that you guys do.
Yeah. So we'll and it's up to you if you want to put that ace, as
we'll have a badge for you. You can put
send it to me.
I figured. I figured you're going to make it your profile picture. So.
And then you want to do the next one?
Yeah. So I really thought, and another person who I think just has done a ton of work, and to me has really become another signature course for GSPro. He put in a ton of work for it. It was a masterpiece. And then last week we did not pick it up the must play of the week. And I think not because it wasn't an amazing course, it's just because, it wasn't our thing. I don't like the tough green. So let me just screw it. Georgia Golf Club by Tech Bud.
Congratulations, my friend. It is
it's a great course.
It is probably the Rusty, take this with a grain of salt because it is it is the club that it is. It is probably the premier, the signature course for GSPro, not just because of the course that it is, but the quality and the effort and the time that you put into it is there. So congrats, Tech.
Pebble's coming out soon, buddy, so enjoy it, Tech Bud. Yeah. That's all I gotta say. And by soon, I mean 8 months.
I love it.
So we've got 2 aces to start our gauntlet with. Yeah. Now, again, we don't expect lots of aces going forward.
I don't expect one for a while here. Yeah.
Yeah. So Tech will get you also a copy of the badge if you want to put it into your splash screen. It's a transparent, and we have a white background as well, so that you can add it to your splash screen.
Can I get that put on the back of my hoodie coming?
Yeah, you can, absolutely.
Well, that or you can get a tattoo if you want as well.
Sweet.
Anything else, guys? Closing remarks here?
We need to pick courses. We need to pick courses for next week.
Oh, number wise, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We got your number pick.
And I also have my feature request too. I forgot about.
Oh, we forgot the feature request today too. Yeah. You want to save it for next week? You want to add it in?
Nah, this show's gone long enough. Let's add it. Like we're out an hour and a half. Let's pick our courses.
Let's do it next week.
Yeah, we'll do it next week. So, man, slowing down, but I saw the number of betas out there. I'm gonna go with 6.
Do I?
Oh yeah,
you get a choice. Yeah, you get a pick. Yeah.
I was actually gonna say 6, so I'll say 5 just to be different for you guys.
All right.
I don't know how you guys do it. I see courses coming. I'm like, ooh, especially on Thursdays when like 7 of them drop. Like,
yeah, we get them like on Mondays and Thursdays. I feel like.
I'm probably gonna regret this, but I think I'm going to go with 7.
7. Ruth is going to be close, so it's either going to be shit. There's no way I can win. I got to get 6.
It's like the Price is Right. You
guys,
get outbid by that one person who they bid like $1 less, and it's just like.
The only reason
I got fooked here. I got fooked.
I feel like the loop is close to being released, and that's 2 courses because it goes both ways. So I feel like the loop is close, and that's 2 courses right there.
Oh, you're talking all courses. I thought we were just talking about PUD courses being released next year.
PUDs and Tech and Pac-Man. That's the wild. That's always the wild card.
I'm still gonna give him a hard time.
That's the wild card because those guys will bring stuff out of Patreon, and all of a sudden it just pops in there. Yeah.
PUD, I got $20 if you bring about 6 courses out of.
Oh man, I got screwed over. That's what I get for drinking too much champagne.
Exactly. All right, gentlemen. Rusty, thank you for being on. Awesome
thanks for having you guys. That was awesome.
And most of all, have a safe flight.
Have a safe
flight
home.
Always.
Hope
it's a 5-day trip. I'm right in the middle of it. So.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. We're done. See you, everybody. See y'all next week.
Sayonara. See ya.
Hit them long and straight.
Yep. Bye-bye.